So Brad, today we're going to talk about offerings and what an offering means to us and its importance to the business. You know, many people don't analyze the actual products or services or goods that they sell. They just sell them. And one of the things that we decided to do many years back was create a framework, and we call it an offering framework. And the framework captures many aspects of the business. And here again, it's compartmentalized, and we broke it down into, a customer segment, a offering segment, and a sales rep segment, because everybody has radically different responsibilities, and we need to analyze different things. So we're going to spend a couple minutes discussing the categories and the things we do analyze in an offering. One of the first things here on the list, and by the way, this will be on the website for you to look at. One of the things we always look at and talk about is the attitude. And the attitude's extremely important before you really launch and attack anything. But we also define the stakeholders involved in this offering. One of the things, and guess what? These are plans that are subject to change because they're always changing. And then the first thing we try to do is we try to define the offering. Okay, what are we trying to do with this offering? And it always wraps around solving a problem or filling a need for a customer. Another important aspect of it is how are we going to sell it? Is this going to be a strictly sales effort with folks going outside and trying to sell this offering, or we're going to try some SEO and some inbound marketing on this? We have an executive summary of the offering where we talk about all of our findings completely. We look at target markets. Brad, it's only important to design something and that you wanted to buy. What's really, many times we've designed stuff that we thought was perfect, but it's only perfect if the market has a need and they want to buy it.
Yeah, it's kind of, or else we'd be guilty of that, that old proverb that says, he who aims at nothing hits it.
Every time.
So, if we don't know what we're shooting at, you're right. We don't know what we're actually aiming at. But then again, if the animal isn't even there, then why even shoot to begin with?
Absolutely, and it's so important to define that. Who needs what I'm making and go. So we try to create some uniqueness. We have this category called unique selling proposition, and we really want to say what makes our service or our product different than the other guys. And we want to predetermine that before we actually launch or ship the offering. All these are also different per offering, right? So all-inclusive printing, all-inclusive management, all would be different. We look at situational analysis. This is where are we at right now, and is this the time to launch this? In fact, many of you guys probably remember what a SWOT is: strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. That's really what we run under the situational analysis to determine where we're at. We look at our competitors. That's quite important. You see that all the time.
Yeah, it's. I think it's Seth who talks about how if you have to basically bring yourself even with the competition, and then basically define yourself beyond that, or define what's unique to you beyond that. Because if you just end up being different, then you're just different. If you can't say, hey, I'm sort of like this thing here, but here's how we're different. If you can't say that, then people are just going to wonder, like, well, is it kind of like this, or is it kind of like that? And you have trouble defining even the space you're in, let alone what makes you unique. That's really not good.
No, it's not, and it's just. A lot of people think big, bold, put more sparklies on it, put more sprinkles on it, and it's gonna just be the next big thing. But yeah, very cool. Another thing we take into consideration and we try to predetermine is the collaborators. Who are we gonna need to assist us with this? And more, the more mature, the older we get, we find out that these partnerships are so important. In fact, if you follow our journey, you're going to see a lot of these partners coming and being subject matter experts and joining this podcast with us.
You know, and you can't really underestimate that section right there, because as you mentioned, it's like, are you going to be, or are we going to be the means of production, or is it going to be somebody else? Because as you mentioned, being able to reach out and touch that subject matter expert in a couple minutes with a phone call, that is a whole lot different, and you can get up to speed a whole lot quicker as compared to, hey, we've got to teach somebody internally to be that subject matter expert, because that could take weeks, it could take months. And so how you go to market, is really important, but then what is your ability to get to market very quickly? You know, this will tell you how quick you can.
Absolutely, and no matter who you are, even the biggest data centers in the world, biggest managed service providers in the world, all have some sort of collaborator. They don't make or produce the internet service that they're using. You know, they need to collaborate with these people to produce this service. So these strategic partnerships are so important. We assess risk and risk mitigation. What can we do to eliminate our risk? We're of a mindset going forward that we're in perpetual beta. We're going to be trying lots and lots of different stuff. But if and when it fails, we just want to bump our knee or bruise our knee. We do not want to break our neck. So we analyze the climate, economically, technology. Where are we at right now? In the market. We do a analysis called a cost benefit analysis, which is, say I need a car to produce, or a big system to produce the means of production. Is it better to buy that? Is it better to lease that? So all that is took into account. Another thing we do as a company is we run a financial analysis through all aspects of the offering. We forecast revenue. We forecast and plan the internal investment. Basically, we do an overall cost assessment of the entire thing.
And that's really important, because as you mentioned, the old adage of like, well, hey, just build it and they will come. That may have been good a long time ago when things were so expensive and things were so profitable. But it's important for us to understand, like right this minute, hey, once we make these investments, however big or little they are, basically we need to, once we get to this point, then we're going to become profitable, or then that will enable us to hire a new person. Whatever that means, it's so important to understand those metrics, or else you have no light and you walk around in the darkness.
Absolutely. Well, another thing that we it's kind of unique to our offering framework is we have a section called Arsenal. And what's important about Arsenal is we've took an inventory of everything available to us, everything around us, all of our people, all of our buildings, all of our stuff. And as we're designing and building these things, we take a look around, and you'll be surprised how many times we say, we have this, and this could help create that unique selling proposition we talked about earlier. Or, hey, this is important because, I don't have to go out and source or buy this. Of course, the selected market strategy is very, very important. Marketing strategy is very, very important. Here again, there's a lot of stuff involved in it. Price, distribution, all that stuff. Then we set short-term and long-term outlooks, right? Hey, and it's sort of like a marriage, I think. Nobody's ever went into one expecting a divorce, right? But I've never went into one not expecting it to win, but most will not win, right? So it's funny to write these things down, these outlooks down, and be like, this is the one. And then 6 months later, 9 months later, a year later, look back and review where you're at.
Yeah, because I mean, just like a marriage, and we can use that as a great analogy. 3-4 years in, you always do end up looking at your spouse and saying, like, man, is this what we believe we signed up for? Yeah. And if not, I mean, maybe go get some counseling or whatever it is, right? And in the same way, I think we've been in offering frameworks before. I should say we've been delivering offerings to customers, and you get so blinded by either the opportunity or the perceived opportunity and these kinds of things, and you end up being perhaps just flat wrong about something that you planned so long ago. And you're right, if you don't write these down, then it's impossible once you're in the fight to be completely objective, and think, and actually see what reality is,
Absolutely. Well, that concludes 1/3 of the offering framework, the specific offering column. So thanks for joining, and please check out the next 2 segments.